Jon Jones is known for a lot of things: his dominance, his versatility, his fight IQ, but one thing that often goes underappreciated, that iron chin. Throughout his legendary UFC career, Jones has never officially been knocked down, barely even wobbled inside the octagon. But according to former UFC champion Carlos Condit, there was one man who did the unthinkable, rocked and dropped Jon Jones in sparring with a vicious spinning back kick. That man? Adlan Amagov. Condit recalls the moment with absolute certainty. He was a spinning back kick guy and he me up. And then I think a round or two later, he hit Jon with that spinning back kick and he dropped him.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Adlan Amagov. He finished a number of guys. He was like a spinning back kick guy. And he me up, and then I think a round or two later, hit Jon with that spinning back kick.
Did he drop him?
He dropped him.
Oh!
Adlan Amagov was a force in MMA. The Russian powerhouse made a name for himself in Strikeforce before transitioning to the UFC when the promotion was absorbed in 2011. He had an impressive resume, going undefeated in his short UFC stint, picking up a unanimous decision victory over Chris Spang and delivering a brutal first-round knockout of TJ Waldberger in 2013. Then, just like that, he walked away from the sport. What makes this story even crazier? Amagov had the nickname Boars before Khamzat Chimaev ever laced up gloves as a professional fighter. A relentless pressure fighter with an arsenal of devastating kicks, he was carving a path of destruction long before the rise of his Chechen successor. During a recent Russian podcast, Amagov was asked about Condit's story. He didn't confirm it outright, but he also didn't deny it. He admitted he hasn't spoken to Jon Jones in years, but made it clear that revealing inside gym stories is against fighter etiquette. Still, his silence spoke volumes. Amagov's MMA career started in Russia, where he won 8 of his first 10 pro fights before getting picked up by Strikeforce. Competing as a middleweight, he secured 3 wins in 4 fights, including a knockout victory over future UFC title challenger Anthony Smith. After making the move to the UFC in 2013, he won his first 3 fights inside the octagon before unexpectedly retiring. At just 27 years old, he decided he had enough of the fight game, reportedly growing tired of competing. But that wasn't the last time he'd step into the cage. In 2016, after 3 years away, Amagov made a one-off return to MMA, submitting Dirle Brunstrup in the first round of a light heavyweight bout. After that, he was gone for good, leaving behind a short but impressive career and one of the most intriguing stories in MMA history. So, was Adlan Amagov the man who truly knocked down Jon Jones? We may never get official confirmation, but those who were there have no doubts. One thing's for sure, he left the UFC undefeated, with his name etched in MMA folklore. Enjoyed the video? Smash that subscribe button. He put Jon Jones on the canvas. Now this isn't some wild internet rumor. Amagov himself confirmed it, though he never intended to make it public. But when Jones visited Russia in 2018 and mentioned taking a liver shot from Amagov, the story exploded. Since then, Amagov has been constantly asked about that legendary sparring session. In 2021, he finally addressed it. We have not been in touch for a long time. Since I retired from Instagram, I no longer keep in touch with him, Amagov said about Jones. And when it came to the big moment, he kept it humble. As for how I knocked him out, it was in sparring. Such things are inconvenient to say. They are sparring. Even in the fight game, there's a code. What happens in the gym usually stays in the gym. But this was too big to be buried forever. Legends like Jones rarely get humbled, even behind closed doors. Yet this moment proves that even the best can have their off days. It's a reminder that no fighter is invincible, not even Jon Jones. Born in the small village of Cernovodsk in Chechnya, Amagov's early life was anything but easy. Growing up in a war-torn country, he witnessed destruction firsthand. In 1994, when he was just 8 years old, his school was destroyed, forcing him to navigate the harsh realities of conflict from a young age. But adversity breeds warriors. Determined to rise above his circumstances, he eventually made his way to Moscow, where he began training in combat sambo alongside legends like Fedor and Alexander Emelianenko. His raw talent and relentless work ethic quickly set him apart. It was only a matter of time before he transitioned into MMA, and in June 2007, that time came. His professional MMA debut came in November 2007 in Russia, but it wasn't the fairy tale start most fighters dream of. Amagov lost his first fight via submission. However, that loss only fueled his hunger. Instead of backing down, he went on an absolute tear, racking up an 8-1-1 record while fighting under the Pro FC banner. His explosive style and well-rounded skill set made him a feared opponent. Fighting ran in the family too. His brothers, Musa and Adlan Amagov, also stepped into the cage as professional fighters. By 2011, the world started to take notice. That summer, Amagov signed with Zuffa and made his US debut at Strikeforce Challengers, Bowling versus Volker, 3 against Ron Stallings. It was a hard-fought battle, but Amagov secured a split decision victory. Then came his true statement moment, his second Strikeforce bout against Anthony Smith. The Chechen warrior needed just one round to deliver a brutal knockout, putting the entire division on notice, almost overnight. By early 2013, the inevitable happened. Amagov signed with the UFC. He made his debut at UFC on Fuel TV against Chris Spong, showcasing elite. Then came UFC 166, where he faced TJ Waldberger. Amagov wasted no time, delivering a devastating first-round knockout that left conscious and forced medical staff to carry him out on a stretcher. The victory cemented Amagov's reputation as a dangerous finisher. UFC. It seemed like Amagov was on his way to something special, but then, just like that, he disappeared from the UFC. At the peak of his career, he walked away. Reports surfaced that he retired to focus on his family and avoid the brutal weight cuts. But 3 years later, in 2016, he made a brief return at League S70, Platforma 7th. His opponent, Dirle Bronstrup, barely lasted 2 minutes before Amagov locked in an armlock submission. That was it. One last victory before he stepped away from the sport for good. He left MMA with a 14-2-1 record, undefeated in the UFC. A known training partner of Khabib Nurmagomedov, Amagov was right there among some of the best. He had already knocked down Jon Jones in training. Who knows how far he could have gone if he had stayed in the UFC a little longer. Adlan Amagov's story is one of mystery, dominance, and what-ifs. He walked away from MMA at his peak, leaving behind an undefeated UFC record and a legacy filled with unanswered questions. Did he truly knock down Jon Jones? Those who were there believe so, but Amagov himself remains tight-lipped, honoring the gym's unwritten code. His career was brief, yet impactful, showing glimpses of greatness that left fans wondering how far he could have gone. Whether he could have been a UFC champion or not, one thing is certain: his name is etched in MMA folklore as one of the sport's great what-could-have-been stories. But that's the thing with MMA. Some fighters take the long road to glory, while others walk away, leaving behind questions that will never be answered. What do you think? Could Adlan Amagov have been a future UFC champion? And what do you make of his training session with Jon Jones? Let us know in the comments below.